A curling frenzy sweeping across Halifax, out in the market area and inside Scotiabank Centre. Absolutely electric for the opening day of the Canadian Olympic Curling Trials. It's exactly what you would expect for this massive tournament that will determine the two teams that will represent Canada at the Olympics in Milano Cortina. Hi again, curling fans. Devin Heroux for Rock Channel inside the arena, still buzzing here. Just a short time ago, the men's opening draw to close out the evening coming to a conclusion. A little bit of a stunner. Kevin Koe stealing the victory from Brad Jacobs, not able to make his final shot. Team Guju with a convincing opening victory over Team Kleider. It was Matty Dunstone, the sheriff, picking up a crucial win over Team Epping. And what a battle between McDonald and McEwen. We're going to get to maybe the shot of the tournament in a little short time from now. But it was McEwen for two in the final end to get the victory. So, after the games, we had a chat with all of the winning skips, starting with Brad Gushue. And how are you feeling physically coming into this?
You know what, I'll be completely honest, I probably overdid it. I worked as hard as I could, threw a lot of rocks, feel like I probably overdid it. I feel as prepared, like I'm throwing it well, just physically it's, I'm not 25 anymore, so it's a little different than what it was 20 years ago, but I like how I'm throwing it, which is the positive thing.
And my last one, sorry, really quickly, you've talked about finding the spark, that you love the big moments and the bright lights. How nice is it to have those butterflies again?
You know, I craved it for the last year and a bit, and to have it today felt great. Excuse me, I felt it, like I said, an hour before the game, and I was like, okay, this is good. Where usually in my career, when you start to feel that, it's like, oh, you know, you dread it a little bit, but you know it's a necessary evil to play great and to have fun in these moments. And, you know, today I was just super excited to get it. And, you know, that was kind of fun.
What can a win like this do to fuel any sort of belief you guys might have to win this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, we had belief for sure coming in. Like I said, we always have real close games with them. So, you know, to everyone, that's probably a huge upset. You know, to us, it's not. You know, we knew we were underdogs, but we know, you know, we beat them earlier in the year, and the only time we've played them as well at the points bet. So, you know, you just don't want to rack up losses here early just because every game is so tough. So, you don't want to put your pressure on yourself right away. So, but I mean, same thing, if we can keep it going and just build up a couple more W's early, you know, we know we'll have a chance at the end, which is all we want.
Crowd showed up tonight. People are going nuts. That gives you goosebumps. I mean, this is the best, man.
Matty, a lot of people have been talking about your team and about Team Epping going into these trials. How much did you feel you had to have this one early in this event?
Yeah, would have loved to have it. Obviously, beyond happy that we do have it now. Yeah, I mean, anytime you can start an event with a win, you know, kind of you can breathe a little bit easier. I guess I'll put it that way. By no stretch of the matter was this make or break for us tonight, but you know, it feels great to get a win against, you know, one of the top teams in this field.
Everybody likes to kind of say it's a different event, and it is. So it's a challenge not to treat it differently than, say, you know, a regular national championship. And I think, you know, it's easy to get caught up with, you know, allowing more pressure to fall on your shoulders. The crowd vibe is usually it's more intense, right? It's easy to absorb that. I think in a Brier, Scotties, in the Nationals, it feels different. So that's the challenge, right? Like, don't let that weight change how you go about business. And I gotta try to keep it light out there. You know, look up, take pauses, look around, like enjoy it, right? You got to find a way to enjoy it because it is more intense. Everybody, from the players in the ice to the fans in the crowd, there's a different level of intensity.
Like I said off the top, Jordon McDonald, 22 years old. He's the youngest skip ever to compete at an Olympic trials. He seemed unfazed by the big stage here tonight, and everyone tonight talking about his around the horn shot when it looked like there was nothing there for him. He pulled out the seemingly impossible. Take a look at this. What a shot. Watch out for this young team the rest of the trials. Okay, let's get to the women's side of the draw. Of course, they were first on the ice here this afternoon at the Scotiabank Centre. And of course, everyone has been talking about the #1 ranked team in the world, Team Homan. And what a statement victory. 16-5 over Team Cameron. Yes, 16 points. They were clinical. They had that look in their eye, and watch out the rest of the way. Right beside Team Homan, Team Einarson with a convincing 12-5 win over Team Black. They just couldn't find their footing. They are the home team. These teams early on in this event, they're really going to be trying to figure out the ice. A lot of humidity today in the building, rain outside, frost on the ice. We'll keep track of that as this event goes along. It was Team Sturmey picking up a win over Team Skurlik. In the final game, it was a victory for Caitlin Laws and her team over Team Brown. So we had a chance to speak to a few more of the winning skips on the women's side, starting with Rachel Homan.
I think, the wins early give us the confidence and that extra boost going into this week. But, those past wins don't really mean much this week. So we know that we have to be, as good as we have been and a little bit better because, everyone's going to be gunning for us, giving us their best game. We know that it's coming. And so, we're preparing ourselves as best as possible.
To that point, you do have a target. You're the #1 team in the world, and on and on and on. And there are a lot of people who have picked this team to steamroll through this competition. What is this all like to manage?
Yeah, I think we just stay within ourselves. We work like we're, dead last. We put in the work. We have the support system. We know what we need to do to play at our best, to feel our best. And that's all you can ask for, is putting in that hard work. And then, it's sport, anything can happen. So we're prepared for it. And, win or lose, we know that there's nothing we could have done more.
Thanks, Rachel.
Thanks.
We put a lot of pressure on them early. We came out with a steal of a deuce. And, it was, we just kind of didn't look back there. And we just learnt the ice. I thought we did really well. It was tricky out there, especially with all the frost creeping in. But I think we managed it well.
It is an opening win to begin the Olympic trials. I have said in previews that every game almost feels like a playoff game. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, that is fair. I'm treating this like every final, and every game is tough, and you can't take anyone lightly. Anything can happen out there, and we just gotta focus on ourselves and play our game and do our thing.
I think experience definitely helps. It doesn't hurt anyways. I feel like it's given me a really great perspective. I feel very grateful that I've had so many great trials experiences over the last decade and a half. And so every game out here just feels like a privilege. And now this is my first time playing as a mom, so that feels really even more special.
Speaking of every game, it feels like every game is almost like a playoff game. How do you approach these 7 round-robin games?
One game at a time. Every game matters, and just focus on your next job, your next rock, your next sweep, and then see what happens at the end of the week.
So you had a riveting night on the men's side. At one point in the 7th end, 3 of the 4 games were tied. Of course, some lopsided scores on the women's side of things. And of course, you know, Team Homan, number 1 in Canada, Team Einarson, number 2 in Canada, and they certainly flexed in the opening draw here. Get some rest. We're just easing into this thing, a common theme from the curlers. It's only one game. We're just getting started here in Halifax. Day 2 straight ahead. We'll have you covered from start to finish right here on Rock Channel.